YouTube. This was one of the most ambitious projects that I have ever put on. I hired a full production team. I had art, I had graphics made, I had music made, I had everything under the sun to put on a really good esports level event. And I think we hit the mark. Just not at the start. I think that it had a rough start, but I don't think that that was necessarily completely our fault. There was a few issues with some of the virtual machines that we were using to spin up and have all 32 streamers' perspectives come in, but as well as it was the first time that any production crew has ever run a Slay the Spire event. It's the first time that I've ever done an event. It's just so many firsts, and yeah, running in the first round definitely had a bunch of hiccups. The TOs for the tournament, they dropped the seed for the players, and they thought that that was the go-ahead.
Did they tell us to go? Because Frost is doing the intro stuff.
Wait, what? Are they playing?
And Otz and I were still delivering our intros for each team and like making jokes and stuff, and they said in our ear, speed run these last 3 teams because they've started. And we thought that everybody was going to play relatively slow at the start. We had a bunch of scenes and graphics in order to help you guys get through Act 1 that might be a little bit more boring. I actually was going into a co-op game with my mod Armadillo at the beginning of the first seed in order to then be able to draw on the map that the players were using to show variable different paths, etc. But by the time that we were like 30 seconds late in getting into the first seed, some teams were already almost near the Act 1 boss. It was absolutely insane. We were very unexpected with how teams were going to play. We were originally going to give 90-minute rounds for teams to play and give them extra points if they were to finish faster than other teams, but we ended up moving it to 75-minute rounds, knowing that maybe some teams wouldn't finish, but that's okay, just so that the teams that do finish in time don't have a crazy amount of downtime. We had sent these rules almost a week before the tournament to all of the players, and they were practicing on their streams, and 75 minutes seemed like it was a good amount of time. Players were barely getting under an hour, in most runs not even getting under an hour when playing 4-player co-op with their team. And so I took that as a, yeah, 75-minute is really good. But when it came to game day, 30 to 45 minutes was really the sweet spot where people were finishing. So that's one thing. It's already insane. If you need to know the full breakdown, it is basically you get more points for finishing, you get more points the more elites you take, you get more points for less deaths, you get more points for getting over the finish line with no dead players. If you need to know it, there's a link. We'll drop it in the description for you to go and click on that. But either way, just basically know that they are supposed to play faster and they're supposed to take more risks. Seed 1 that you're going to be watching today was called Devour the Tower. If you want to just pause this video right now, get a team of your 3 friends, and you want to play that seed and see how fast you guys can play it and how well you can do and stack up your points to see if you can go up against the people in this tournament, that'd be really fun. But if not, and you're like me and you're just going to here to watch, yeah, just know that this seed, the idea was that they were going to be fighting the Waterfall Giant in Act 1, which was supposed to be a blockade for them to possibly just get a death. Usually, in co-op Slay the Spire, obviously, if just one person makes it through that fight, they build a little bit extra defensive in Act 1. As long as they're the only person to be left alive from that martyrdom explosion that the Waterfall Giant does, the other players can die. So that was kind of the idea, was make sure that they fought the Waterfall Giant in Act 1. And then, of course, a lot of the seeds were going to have the Aeon Glass. The Aeon Glass got reworked and is now incredibly powerful and was the main thing that was wiping out teams in any practice that we were seeing. That boss is absolutely insane. So I made sure that we had him in Act 3. Know that this round, they got to choose their own characters as long as they were just different than the rest of their teammates. They could not have duplicate characters on their team. Round 2 is that they were all going to play the same character, and round 3 is random. So knowing that, here is round 1. I hope you enjoy it. It is a little bit weirder watching back like a tournament broadcast from the perspective with all of the with me and Otz Darva casting it. But if you want to watch anybody's perspectives, their VODs are probably still up on their Twitch and YouTube channels, so you can go and watch their entire runs. I encourage everybody to go and look at any streamer that you see. I'll try to include all of the links to every single streamer in the description. If we fuck up with that, bear with us. It's a lot. And yeah, let me know what you think. If you're there on the day of the tournament and you're just here to comment on the video, let me know what your thoughts were and if you were hype. And again, sorry to a little bit of scuffness, but it was a learning experience, so we had to figure it out. I promise you, round 2 and 3 are going to be, they were much cleaner. So yeah, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Good fucking afternoon, everybody, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs. My name is Frost Prime. I'm here with Ots Darva for the first ever Devour the Tower co-op Slay the Spire 2 tournament. Ots, it's good to be here.
It's so good to be here, friends. What is up? What are we here to do?
Oh, we are here to see some blood, some carnage, and everything in between. Some teams have been practicing religiously every day, and they are ready to go. And other teams, they haven't even talked a single time in their Discord chat. And I don't imagine that they are going to be doing quite as well. But it's going to be fun to watch in Type Ohm as they fall and fail.
We are about to make history here.
Yeah, we've got 32 other streamers other than ourselves live right now in the Slay the Spire 2 category, all ready to play 3 rounds, and then if the winners will top 2 teams will move on to the final round, but 3 rounds of Slay the Spire 2 co-op on Ascension 10 in order to determine who the best co-op team is. All you need to know is that you just got to play hard and fast at the end of the day.
Yes.
But yeah, should we start taking a look at our competitors now and see who's going to be up against who, and then chat can start laughing at the people that are here and saying who they want to be. First up, we have Team Bomb Squad. I don't think that they have anything to do with bombs. It's just the first initials of their name. The person on the left side in that gold rare card, they are going to be the good player of the team, the god player, the pro player, the coach, the captain. These guys are all big Slay the Spire names, or at least big in terms of how good they are at the game. Bookshelf is one of the best players of the game. He is so unbelievably incredible, and also is the funniest Slay the Spire pro, named by Japanese export himself. You have Michael Al Fox, known for every variety indie game under the sun, and also Dragon Slayer Doppelganger. You've got Wavy, who genuinely, that dude is one of the craziest motherfuckers on the planet, has beaten Spelunky 2 more times than I can count, and has also tattooed half of the tattoos on his body himself. That's insane. And then you have a Platypus who genuinely will not button up his shirt and constantly is showing way too much chest hair and oftentimes his belly button. But I also love the guy to death.
Oh, we have Team the Smash Bros. And you did mention that we do have an American foundation here, but we do have players from around the globe. Is that right? I'm not sure if that's the case for this team. Crimson Blur, you have told me of his prowess in this game, and we will talk about some of these folks a bit more into detail later.
If my moderator Armadillo can drop a clip in chat for everybody to go look at themselves. Blur played for 11 hours overnight last night, and he fell asleep on stream like 4 hours ago.
Oh no.
Like, he genuinely fell asleep at his microphone and then just went to bed after finishing a run and then is now here. He's here. He's awake. But like, is that going to harm him in the team? Probably. But he's also the GOAT. He is one of the best Slay the Spire 1 players of all time, and he's a super nerd. If you know him from the Smash scene, he is the person that invented calculating frame data alongside the other greats like Mewtwo King. He is a super nerd when it comes to everything strategy, for sure. Yeah.
I love to see it. I also love to see people that have confidence in a wide variety of games. For example, I know Ludwig is very good at smashing buttons in Super Mario games. I wonder how
smashing buttons, smashing controllers,
translate into Slay the Spire. There might be an opportunity here for some.
He did play Slay the Spire recently on stream, and 2 times throughout a singular run, he opened up a chest, read the relic, said, "Ooh, that's a good relic," and then didn't take it and proceeded on throughout the run.
No. You see, that's something that only a truly confident player can do. It's like, I just don't need the help right now. Thank you. I will not be taking charity. I respect that.
Who do we have up next? We have Ascension 11. You know, in putting these teams together, I was trying to put these teams together based on vibes. I put 3 out of the 4 people on this team together because they all have accents. Is that cool?
Okay. I do think that could trigger some kind of lawsuit, but
Jackie is actually like somebody that's relatively new on my radar in terms of content creators. He's really like bloomed a lot in the Slay the Spire 2 scene, and he's streams at a slot that nobody else does. He streams early in the morning, and he is so unbelievably funny and charismatic, and he has been getting a lot of success. Multi-Brad, he's one of my homies. He literally, before every single event that I do, he sends me a personal DM saying, "Good luck, remember to drink water." He's like my father, if my father also played Slay the Spire. Azap is an old homie from the league days, of course. And then, yes, that person on the right, the ham, quite literally did trick me into getting into this tournament, but I actually love it. And I've watched his streams since then, and he's actually entertaining as fuck. He's a really small content creator.
So he's got some blackmail on you is what I'm gathering.
He's if you guys at any point during the chat, you can type !rules, and there's a website that will allow you guys to see the rules. You can also go through that website and see all of the players in the tournament in real time. And if you go to the players and standing section, all of those names are clickable. And if there's anybody that I think should get a little bit of love throughout this tournament, it's the ham. The dude is actually fucking entertaining as hell. And I'm actually really happy I got conned. So
that is super lovely.
Okay, Otz, if I had to ask, in a Slay the Spire co-op tournament, why would a team name themselves Elephant Sanctuary?
They care about species that are close to extinction, multicultural, different walks of life, caste. They have big horns. I'm starting to run out of ideas here.
It's because they draw the most amount of elephants guaranteed every single run on their minimap.
Elephants. Right. Trunks. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye out for that. Are there any extra points for particularly large and detailed elephant trunks?
If you get the stream taken down, you automatically win, is what I think is the only way to go about this. Japanese export, also known as Jason. We're going to refer to him as that a lot because he has a very long name. He is actually just got off tour with his band. He's in a couple of bands, and he's like really talented, multifaceted talent. One of the best Slay the Spire 2 players. Has actually coached me in the game.
Incredibly fun videos to watch, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, he's really hilarious, and he's willing to put up with all my phallic jokes. Then the other three players on this team. See, Jason mentioned offhand that he played Melee growing up, and all three of these other players I all got put on a fighting game tournament team with. So naturally, I had to put them all together. And so far, watching their content has been absolutely fire. They are unbelievably hilarious. They might not win, but they're gonna be funny. So that's all that matters.
I believe.
Next up, the big cats, because Raren won't stop saying the term big cat. I put the most sarcastic coach possible onto this team, and then three Hearthstone players. You don't really need to say anything else. Who on this team do you think is going to be potentially the person to hold back the team, do you think?
Oh, to hold back the team. Well, I did watch Raren be coached by you all the way back then. I imagine he's grown a lot as a player since. And he did have some of the quirks that all new players have, including myself, and he was quite adorable. I am very, very fond of his content. I also learned a lot from Merle. I feel like I owe him a lot when it comes to getting good at Watcher. So, yeah. And even Ruffle, I'm actually quite fond of his content. Dredge, I am a little bit less familiar with, but I will be keeping an eye out for everyone. I know they have it in them to do amazing today.
And we will probably see a major reference towards Ruffle later on in the tournament. No spoilers, but I'm a big fan of Ruffle and his wearing of black t-shirts every single day. He's like a cartoon character. It is very, very appealing. But yeah, they did remove the Watcher from Slay the Spire 2, so Merle does have some choice words for Mega Crit. Sends them hate mail every single day. It's a major problem that they have. Yeah, next up, let's look at the next team. Ooh, Type 1 if Scoot is greater than Frost. Now, the reason why this name is Scootish was the worst player going into this tournament, almost had to be given a buff in order to be better, but then got coached by Opum, who is one pun man, who's notably probably the best player at Slay the Spire 2 currently, and now technically has a 100% win rate on Ascension 10 because he's only been playing with Opum in his ear and has won them all. So that is, yeah. So it's going to be Scootish to watch of whether or not their team succeeds or fails, honestly. The other people are really good.
Does that have anything to do with the fact that they are being adversarial towards you in particular right now? Do you hold any ill will?
Let's just say I might be the one holding that knife at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on before he gets heated, guys. Next team, please.
The Goon Platoon. The Goon Platoon. Weird that the one that has the most women on the team wanted to name their team after masturbate. It's just something I wanted to point out there. No, this team honestly has like a lot of synergy. I've been watching them play. Paparazzo was the last person that joined into the tournament, and I really want to thank him coming in as a last-second coach, and he has gelled really fucking well with his team, and they are looking extraordinarily solid. Extraordinarily solid. And Joe Cat is just like the cutest person on the planet, so I have to root for him.
I like every single one of these folks.
And we're going to go through this last team rather quickly because round 1 has just started. Don't worry, you won't miss any of the action. We have VM Service, and we need to give a major shout out to VM Service simply because if you hover over any person's stream that you are watching today on any of their other live streams, you can see their relics, you can see their deck, you can see their map, you can see everything in real time. If you type !decks into my chat and you open up that website and you can scroll through all of their decks in real time, that is made by VM Service. 5 minutes ago, that website went down because of you fuckers. Service. And we got it put back up, and I just said, VM Service, bill me for whatever it costs. So shout out VM Service. He deserves a lot of fucking love, and you know this team is going to perform. It's 3 GOATs plus a VM who's also a GOAT. So 4 GOATs on one team. Let's get into the action now. We've got all of the players rolling through. They're already... Wow! Oh my God.
Okay, I'm going to try to commentate absolutely everything that's going on right now. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Don't worry. It's not as overwhelming as it looks. Okay? Now, for these players, this situation is absolutely diabolical. The things, the variables, everything they have to take into account, it just expands into infinity. The correct choice might be 1 out of a million. But for you, the viewer, super, super simple. Look at their health. Is it really, really high? Good. Is it really, really low? Uh-oh. That's not good. Every time they die, they don't replenish health automatically after every fight, right?
Yeah. Quinn Jamin got really low there. He's Daddy Q over on that left side of the board. He got down to nearly 0 HP there, and even if you die right at the end of that boss, that's why I put it there. I want to see if any player dies, because one in the chat, if you died to just the martyrdom of the waterfall giant, it's there. And in multiplayer, though, it can be like, we'll just sacrifice 3 of the people, because as long as one person survives, you get to move on. So I put that there just to see if we could get any -5s out of any of these teams, and I feel like we might be able to get one at some point. You can see on the bottom of your screen, you can see all of the teams, and we should be able to get live point scoring as things start coming in. So you'll be able to see what team is in first and what team isn't, and where things are set out. You can see the timer right above me of how long they have left. I mean, we're rolling through. The fact that they are already in Act 2 is something.
How long ago did they start, Frost?
You can see
have we missed?
So we roll off the in-game timers. The top left is just like it's like a timer that's just to help out the viewers on knowing how long is left in the act. We're gonna be going off everybody's in-game timer.
So we're just 10 minutes into this.
Yeah, they're 10 minutes into the run, and they're already in Act 2. Yeah, that is. Yeah, you can see on the top of their screen, they are flying through this. And now Team Scoop is greater than Frost Prime. They're still in Act 1. So you can see maybe teams have performed a little bit better. We got Ascension 11. They're still focusing on an Act 1 normal fight. I mean, they're oh, what looks like they might have just started, actually. Did they have to reset, or did they just start here?
I have a feeling we have a tiny little bit of syncing issues. Some teams are still in Act 1. For the record, this game has 3 acts, okay? The first one, I think the consensus is that they need to be really careful because it is very, very deadly. And the choices that you made with your early picks and decisions influence the rest of the run very, very severely. So you need to be relatively safe. Luckily for them, Act 2, they will most likely steamroll through. At that point, they're quite strong. The decisions that they have to make are far less important, and they can breeze through it really, really quickly. Act 3, similarly, they are pretty strong already, and they will play it fast until the final boss, which is typically very, very tricky and could easily result in a team wipe. At that point, they really have to consult each other, play their cards very, very, very carefully, and make sure they use the resources well. That's more or less the flavor that we're going to be looking at right now.
Yeah, I mean, and you can see the difference in the teams. The fact that We are at almost 12 minutes
turn
and
is also
still
all
in
damage
Act
'cause
1
he's
versus
stunned.
another team. I believe it was Japanese Exports team that is well through Act 2 at this point. I mean, the
Fucked up. I could've
the
had a
difference
little-
in what a little bit of practice
probably
does, and
kill
I
these
know
turns,
that
only
One
40
Pun
something.
Man really had to
No,
focus
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
again on the
for sure,
weakling
for sure.
Scootish, who again,
Yeah,
I think is just the
yeah,
underdog of the
Oh, we
tournament.
got it.
People
All right,
want
good.
him to do really well, and they
Regal
want to see him
Pillars.
Juzu
perform,
bracelet,
but it might just be that
huge.
they're able to go
Is it ever
for
dash?
more
Dash, if you think you need
more
it, then sure.
difficult routes, but they might need to
Is it
take
ever
a
leading
little
strike?
bit more
Leading strike's amazing.
time.
I'm not getting any.
Yeah, they do seem to have a
leading
solid
strike. I
engine to
already got a
create
bunch of
damage.
extras.
We see that our recent player is utilizing a
nice.
card
I got Beacon
called
of Hope
Supermassive
with
that will
plated
deal
armor,
more
so-
damage for each card created. And we also have a variety of cards that create other cards. Over time, this
that's the
one
first
single
one.
attack is enough to deal a ton of damage. But now we need to get into the quirks of multiplayer and what exactly is happening.
I don't know.
No, I mean,
We're once again looking at Team Scoot greater than Frost, trying to make their way through Act 1. I think that they're going to probably get through it though with no deaths. I mean, looking at where they're at
Yes.
right now, if you take a look at like what they're playing, and they seem really solid. I'm not worried about them dying. Just again, not being the fastest person here. It looks like.
I killed block 3.
It looks like, why is this guy playing 1,000 souls on the regen? Is that potentially because we have a card that is putting souls in other people's decks played by their Necrobinder player, Scootish,
Yes.
to allow him to create a bunch of cards in his deck, which then scales the Supermassive? That
It seems
sounds like
like-
a fun little combo.
It seems like that's the strategy. Going into the Waterfall Giant, which is the boss of Act 1, you do need a bit of a plan. This is not a fight that you can stall out forever. Most fights in this game will get more dangerous over time, meaning that you have to be fast. The Waterfall Giant in particular has a big nuke that he will do at the end of its life cycle, and you will need to block for it. If everyone were to die, that would be catastrophic. Luckily, at the end of each act, of all 3 of them, I guess, our characters do recover part of their HP, right?
Just as a personal note, if I was about to fight an elite right before going into the final, or right before going into the Waterfall Giant boss, this would be the elite I would want to see the least most. You're pretty much guaranteed to take chip damage here in multiplayer, because in single player, you sometimes can have like a 30, 40 damage card that just one-shots one of these guys. 127 plus 17 is not something that I'm able to kill rather quickly, even as a team. That seems like absolutely insane.
Yeah, what you need to know at home is that this game in single player is quite simple, quite well balanced and adjusted. But in multiplayer, obviously, with 4 characters attacking all at once, what you're looking at is enemies having typically 4 times the HP, doing the same damage, but attacking everybody at once. And that extra HP means that some fights simply go on for longer. And this is one of those fights that you really do not want to go on for longer, because every, I believe, 3 turns, these will be getting a strength boost that will make it really hard to avoid damage here.
And just for the people at home, we do realize that the points at the bottom that aren't lining up exactly with everything that's going on. You can still see the players' points in real time, and that's all that we really care about at the end of the day. We're looking at Ludwig, who is getting coached along by Crimson Blur.
It seems like they're still in Act 1, halfway through it, I would say.
Yeah. Ludwig might be a
pace of
little bit
8 minutes?
overwhelmed if he hasn't been playing this game. He's yelling loudly. That's what Ludwig's known for. They're about 8 minutes in and not even past the halfway mark. That is tough. That is definitely tough. Can we look at the team, one of the teams now that is out in first place in Act 2? I'd love to see how they're doing going this fast, if they've had any
There's
sort
a
of
massive difference right now between
massive
teams.
gap between a lot of these teams. I can see Japanese Exports team is way through Act 2 right now.
Yep, they seem to be dealing with some, maybe still on a second fight. Is that possible?
Yeah.
No, maybe a third fight. It seems like this is 3 insects, so I think that's one of the harder pulls. They must be around halfway through the act at the moment. And, we are now back with Bookshelf's team.
Who's still in Act 1. I think they're at that last elite right before the boss. again,
14.
I think that 15 minutes in is for a team. Now, I will say, when I said earlier that some of these teams have not practiced or anything, this team hadn't communicated.
Oh,
Like, they
dear.
hadn't said anything to each other before today. They hadn't said a single word in their Discord chat. So for them to be making 15 minutes at the end of Act 1, that's not bad. That's really not bad for not...
If
Like,
they
I
do
think
play
they-
safer, that could really
Yeah.
help their odds later, and they could dodge a few deaths here and there that other faster teams are unfortunately not dodging. And remember, for each death, the timer ends up being bigger. A team that goes really fast and gets wiped at the final boss could easily be outperformed by a team that takes it a bit slower, gets a little bit lucky, gets some good decisions. And even with all of that off the table, we need to remember that even though these teams are playing on a similar seed, in other words, they're playing with the same on the same starting point, the decisions that they make immediately branch into different directions. Someone could get a card or go for an event that nobody else goes to, and that could transform the game forever. This is a game where one card or one relic that comes at the right time can make a huge difference, can carry the run. So we do maybe expect some volatility as the run goes on.
Yeah, I really am hoping that we get to take a look at one of these teams out in front, if it's possible, production, just because I really do want to see how a team that's going so quickly is going to be able to handle Act 2, the Act 2 bosses. You know, I think that it's going to be pretty difficult if you guys are just playing cards willy-nilly. I imagine that somebody's got to take some damage. Somebody's got to die here. But we'll have to see here. Jackie's team still a little bit behind, but again, they did start just slightly late. Azap's team doing
Their health is
relatively the same.
looking amazing, by the
that is
way.
Jackie's team.
One of
Yeah,
them
yeah.
must have found some item to increase their max HP. We see a huge health bar. And oh my god, it really did not take them very long at all. Opum and his team have now whittled down the health of the Waterfall Giant down to basically nothing. And remember, when it reaches 0, it will deliver a big attack doing 41 damage. That might wipe out nearly everybody here.
Yeah, apparently production dropped the seed early in the chats to let everybody know what it was, and they took that as the go-ahead to start, which is why a couple of the teams are so far ahead of everybody. But here we are finally. Thank you, production. We got there. W production. We are in the Act 2 boss. Everybody's about half HP on Japanese Exports team on Elephant Sanctuary.
Yeah, we are at the end of turn
Hopefully they
4,
can-
so what you need to know about this fight is that this boss gives you decisions. It puts you in a bit of a bind. You have to choose between taking damage at the end of each turn, which gets increasingly harder to deal with, or having other downsides, such as drawing less, having less energy, and these things get uncomfortable so quickly. What do you make of the decision of our captain to play as the Regen? What do you think is behind that decision?
I think it's genuinely because the Regen has a card that applies vulnerable and weakening. And as the captain, you probably are the person that's going to be playing the fastest because you don't have to like look at your cards. You know, you kind of just like know what they what to do and what to play. So he knows that he doesn't have to call out vulnerable and weaken right at the start.
Yeah.
3 people on this team just got really low here.
Oh no.
3 people just got within striking distance. And it is a 27 damage turn, plus however much damage they have if they decided to take the debuff
Disintegration.
that forces you to take damage at the end of every turn. This could be a multiplayer death screen. I'm worried about Quasi. Her username is My Dad Could Top Your Dad. Goes down here. That's -5. Type it in the chat. We got 2 other players possibly dying here, but the HP is getting low. Only 1 death. Only going to be 1. But hey, if you finish first,
That
it's plus 30
really
points.
dodgy.
If you get first, it is plus 30 points. So that death can easily be made up for. Not a big deal, not a big deal. I do want to see what they get here from the Ancients. Because we do have tanks here as our first Ancient. And
these are really fun choices.
He's a very attack-focused guy. Everything he does is all about playing a lot of cards, transforming your attacks into claws, or, you know, he wants you to spam things. He wants you to do... Is he taking mauls?
Yeah, he's
He's taking Maul's team captain, Japanese export, playing for the Twitch chat, playing for the fans. Oh my God, he's calling out that he
Okay,
wants
this
to
is
go
a
right up
fun
that
choice,
center
but
path.
was it a reasonable choice, do you think? Was it sensible?
I love what production just did. We just saw somebody get to Act 3, and now we are going back to Ludwig's team that is still in Act 1 and not even towards the end. They are on floor 12. They are quite far behind here. They are really lagging behind. Bomb Squad is also still fighting that Act 1 boss. Bookshelf himself might go down here depending on how much damage that explosion does. Really want to see that here. Now, interestingly enough, if you kill this guy, you get the next turn is when they deal the damage. If they die via Doom, which could have possibly happened there, you get an extra turn to be able to draw weakening because the explosion is kind of like a new character and you have to reapply weaken. All of the debuffs get shedded off. 35 damage incoming. It's probably, they got weakening. He's Bookshelf's definitely fine here. Not gonna be going
is
down.
Honestly, a bit of a dangerous card. It does provide free block at the cost of cluttering your deck. But here, honestly, it's amazing. It seems like Bookshelf, thanks to that weakening, might survive with 1 HP.
Thank you, Wavy, for hovering over the HP. 1 HP is crazy to survive at. That is nuts.
Yeah.
That is absolutely crazy.
0 block on the character, it seems, as well. And the 1 HP warrior lives on.
Just swagging on
That's
him.
great.
Probably didn't block on purpose, personally. Let's see what card Wavy decides to take here.
These are all really good, but...
I mean, none of them particularly do anything crazy. Shared Fate is a bit of a double-edged sword, depending on what he has in his deck. I didn't see a lot of Osti attacks, so Squeeze is going to be crazy. Shared Fate is good at multiplayer, so maybe that's why they took it. It's cool.
Yeah, this is a really good time to explain why multiplayer debuffing cards are so important. So, obviously, if an enemy has 4 times... Oh, I think we did have one, yes. Doing 45 damage at a time.
They have 2 rolling boulders on this team. This is a team that I want to watch. And it doesn't look like anybody's going to be falling either to this explosion. So they are about 15 minutes in, playing a little bit behind on pace. It really does look like the Elephant Sanctuary is just far and ahead in front of everybody here. Just able to do so much. Let's see what Wavy decides to pick.
Pretty good.
Ooh, looks like they've gone with the Alchemic Coffer, which gives you extra slots to have potions. Keep in mind, at this level of Ascension, you normally only get to carry 2 potions, which is very restrictive. It really doesn't let you store them and hoard them for a really tough boss fight. But with this, that absolutely changes. And potions are fun because other relics can also fill up your potions later. We'll be keeping an eye out, right, on Wavy? See if these potions come in clutch.
Ooh, Deathbringer on this turn is so good. Just the permanent weakening, putting across everybody, helping out the whole team. Yeah, now Wavy's definitely hoping. We know that Tanks is the Act 3 Ancient, so he's not going to be getting that Delicate Fron from Nonu that gives you, fills up your potion bar every single floor, but it's definitely something that's worthwhile taking. Already on floor 40, Elephant Sanctuary. The Mauls are doing crazy work, it seems. Karis, once again, Quasi a little bit low and has a lot more to go. That is absolutely crazy. I wonder what their actual time is. If production has any of the feeds of the other players that has the clock at the top, we can ask Japanese Export to turn that on for the next round. I just want to know exactly.
27 minutes?
27 minutes. He just opened up his box screen. Oh
that's
my
really fast.
God. 27 minutes and they are already halfway through Act 3. This is an incredible team. We need to nerf them. We might need to nerf them. They did suffer a death, so they won't be getting maximum points here. But the fact that they are still taking risky paths, still taking elites.
Oh, that is obscene levels of damage here.
Oh my God. The damage is coming out is absolutely crazy here.
Just a few
absolutely crazy
away from the final boss.
Taking a zoom out to see where every player is, every team is, you can see that most are well into Act 2 right now, fighting elites in Act 2. We've got Team Paparazzo that's currently fighting that new Prism. If we can go to their perspective, I'd really appreciate that. The new Prism got reworked in this patch. Used to be that they were just kind of a guy that hit you every turn, would buff every 3 turns, and every time that you would hit him with an attack for the first time that turn, they would...
You would gain some energy back.
Yeah, you would get 1 energy back. But now they're essentially like glorified Gremlin Knob. They're Gremlin Knob on steroids, where they debuff all of your skills. And every time that you play a skill, your character gets more and more infected. And then after a few turns, it gets worse. So the more skills you play, the worse it gets. And it is absolutely deadly. We were seeing a lot of players that were practicing regularly getting to the point that they were rarely dying.
I am seeing 100 block on that enemy, by the way. That is mad.
That is crazy.
That is absolutely mad.
Since the rework, though, players are dying left and right to a lot of the reworked enemies, the Prism included, as well as the Aeon Glass in Act 3, which will be making...
Which we are getting.
Which will be making an appearance very, very shortly. I can guarantee you that. On this first seed, which we never even talked about the name of the seed. It's Devour the Tower. It's Devour the Tower itself. If you guys, we're going to try to get you the name of the next seed right as we start the round. So if you guys want to play along at home, a couple of people were asking to do that. They have a squad of 4 ready to play along at home and see if they can beat the competitors and earn themselves a spot in the next Devour the Tower tournament. Karis once again getting really low. They are definitely the person to watch.
Damage from our defect player, by the way.
Let's see what's in the shop.
That they have a bit of a Dark Orb going on.
Ooh, an Orrery could be game-changing for sure. But unfortunately, production has told us that we're not allowed to see that, and we have to go see if players are about to die to the Hunter Killer. What in the chat if this is one of your most hated enemies in all of Act 2? Never mind, we're going back. I yell at production, and they give me exactly what I want. If anything, I am a person of my own desires, I guess. And now we get to see the Aeon Glass. So we're going to stick here for a minute.
Walk us a little bit through this.
Yes.
What makes this different from the Doormaker?
Right. So the Doormaker was removed from the game. I hope comes back in an alternative Act 3 in the future. The Aeon Glass was added and then slightly reworked. So I'm going to go over what they do now. Every 6 cards that each individual player plays, they will get a status card added to their hands. And that status card will deal damage at the end of their turn and discard. They cannot play it. They can exhaust it, transform it, discard it, whatever, through whatever means they have. At the end of their turn, they will take the damage. They can block it. But every few turns, when the Aeon Glass initiates a buff, they will increase the damage of those statuses by 3 additional damage. So it starts out at 3, but for a card spamming character like the Silent, that could really mean death. And then when it upgrades, it goes to 6 and then 9, and it can just get spiraling out of control. You can see it here right now. Japanese export has 0 block in his hand and is going to be taking a full 25 to the face unless he wants to pop that block potion.
He might opt to throw.
Everybody switch to Japanese export stream and type potion really quickly in his chat. He really appreciates that.
No,
as you
please.
know. Yeah, no, the Mauls are doing crazy work. I wonder if he actually took it for this fight. Something that's like permanently scaling and is just going to allow him to like slowly ramp up, and no matter what, if he could just keep his HP pool high, by the time that he gets to the Act 3 bosses, he can kind of be that carry. Speaking of carry and what rhymes with it, he's got parry. What do you feel about the card parry? Do you like it?
Well, I know it was the subject of several buffs, and we see that he has a very, very aggressive build. It does make sense. He also, as you have noticed, has Pillar of Creation to help him create passive block every time a card is created. But the thing that I find the most interesting is that with Shuriken, he is encouraged to play many, many attacks, and he has multiple ways to get extra strength. Now, the strength is important.
Ooh, the potion coming out to keep Karis alive. Sorry,
it's given to a teammate.
But yeah, he's 2 potions to keep Karis alive. That is what team play is for. So the good thing about potions in this game is, unfortunately, Megacrit has yet to figure out how to give attack potions to other players and like forcibly generate a card screen in front of the multiplayer screen. So if you use something like an attack potion, it's forced to be used on yourself. But things like energy potion, strength potion, block potion, those can be used on your allies in order to keep them alive. And so that's exactly what they're doing here, is keeping their teammate hopefully above 1 HP. Because if they can just limp them across the finish line and get to that Act 3 second boss, They can die there, and as long as they get over the finish line, those -5 points are going to be nothing. But it's actually not Karis that goes down. It's Daddy Quinjamin that's going to be the embarrassing person that we point and laugh at here. That is going to be it. Did they go too fast here? If they die, they're going to be revived at 1 HP and most certainly die to the Fiki test subject. There's just no way
what
they
do you mean? I thought we were at the final boss. What's going on?
This is Ascension 10. We've got two final bosses. You can see up in the top that they are currently at the hourglass, and they've got to go up against the test subject next. And that guy, so we talked about here that you get a status every 6 cards played, but it's individual. If I play 5 cards and you play a card, I don't get a status, right? It's only when you play 6 cards yourself. But with the test subject, what they're about to go into, every single time in the first couple of turns that anybody plays a skill, it increases the damage for everybody. Every single person here. Looking at a bit of a multi-game so we can keep track of a couple of different players.
Some extra kills are going to happen here.
Excuse me, why are we looking at me, Box? Hello, I know that I'm hot and attractive, but what the heck? Probably trying to keep an eye on where other teams are at the moment. Maybe trying to use my stream to scout out what the next boss is. Hey, fair and valid. I'm not going to say stream sniping's off the table. We didn't put it in the rules.
No skills, no skills.
Let's see here. If anybody goes down, though, I'm still paying attention to that top right screen. I still want to know. Karis is ultra low, and they got 240 damage to chip through. And this turn right here. Oh, excuse me. I was wrong. This next turn is going to be the big one.
Yeah, I think we just get through this phase.
Let's see.
Okay,
here,
I'm going to do my best to gather a little bit of intel on what the other teams are doing.
Sure. I'm keeping an eye on the top right.
Looking at Gun Platoon, we do see some very, very nice relics that might help them in the future, but also I notice a lot of starter cards still being played and still being drawn. It might be that their decks still need a little bit of cleaning up. We see a much slower approach on the big cats. They are dealing with an enemy that damages back when you attack them, thanks to their thorn, so it is very delicate. Remember, every little bit of HP really matters.
And then I'll rally.
Okay, so they got through phase 1 of the test subject up in that top right corner without anybody dying. They've scaled up quite significantly, but there's still a lot of damage incoming, and I'm worried here that Daddy Q Quinjamin is once again going to go down and cause his team another -5 points.
Yeah, it seems very hard to avoid with 33 damage incoming. If you look at the red icon and the numbers above the boss, that's what they're being hit for each and every single one. If we actually have 2 deaths happening...
double death, but hey, okay, if we do the math really quick, you get 5 points just for finishing this boss, okay? You get 5 points every boss kill. You get 5 points for every person on your team that is alive after the final boss. So they will get plus 15 points just for winning, and then minus 10 for the 2 deaths. So they're still net positive if they just get over the finish line with these 2 people left alive. Now it's going to be especially so goddamn hard because of the fact that 2 people are dead and they still have a third phase of this guy.
This is so unfortunate, by the way. We see that the Nunchaku on Jason's relic bar is unfortunately not proccing.
Yeah.
And there were some defensive cards there that we just simply did not have enough energy to play. Oof. Even though we did mention that there were some sources of strength gain, the strength gain on our region is still really slow.
Are they all dead?
I think a miracle might be necessary here. We need to remember that we're only on phase 2 out of 3.
They reduced the strength. They hit him with some sort of strength reduction, like a dark shackles or something. I didn't quite see what it was. But they hit him with something that... it's the Monarch's Gaze. The Monarch's Gaze, with all of the attacks, every single time that Maul hits the test subject, it reduces their strength by 1 for the tournament. That is an incredible pickup to have with the Maul. We always said that Gaze were superior, and it's being shown here live on the tournament.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have another Pillar of Creation, which I'm sure Jason would love to add to his long list of powers, but it's looking quite a bit difficult. That vulnerable comes in really nicely. That weak comes in really nicely, but the vulnerable is basically useless because at this turn, this enemy is only taking 1 damage at a time. That is the intangibility, a signature of this boss.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible what we're looking at here. 45 damage incoming. Can they keep it? Because the strength down isn't doing a whole lot here. It is not doing a whole lot.
I think we're looking at a death this turn. Yeah, we see Jason smile. Surely
he knows that he's going down. It looks like Switch might be left alive, blinking red. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. I don't think that one lone Ironclad is chipping through 1,500 HP.
He killed
They all
himself!
go down. They all go down. Now, they can still restart this run and play as much as they want to until the end of this round and gain more points.
What?
They still can. You are allowed to have one team wipe if you would like. They can try it again. They can play again. And if they would like to try to get more points. The likelihood that they'll be able to get to the end, probably not likely. We do have 46 minutes left, and they played through that in less than that. They played through that in half an hour, so they could potentially get there again.
That is outrageous, actually. They can play 2 rounds within one.
I would love
something they can afford to with the speed they managed to play at.
I would love if I could get in my ear to production to confirm whenever they have the information of how many points their team got that round, because I'm curious as if they ended positive because they killed so many elites, so many bosses. I wonder if they're positive or just under positive, but that shows the difference between the two types of play styles. Is it better to be playing absolutely as fast as possible, or is it better for them to go a little bit slower, maybe not finish first, because if you finish first, you get plus 30 points. Second team gets plus 25, and so on and so forth. Into the final 2 teams, 7th and 8th, get just 0. Didn't want to give the 8th place team -5. Is it better to maybe not get exactly first, but you get over the finish line, or you try to get first and you maybe end up in that exact same position right there?
I would personally also like to ask production to show us the start of Act 3 for one of our teams.
Team Jackie is going, they're just now getting into Act 3, and Paparato's team at the Ancient as well. So we've got, a lot of teams right now just getting to the start of Act 3 at 30 minutes. I mean, that lets you know with 45 minutes to spare that you've got like a decent runway of, hey, we can make sure to play this final act a lot better. And then you have teams like the Crimson Blurs team, the Smash Bros, that are currently fighting the Hunter Killer in Act 2, and they're probably going to be a little bit farther behind. All right, we're on Jackie's perspective here. From specifically
I love what Jackie what Jackie's team just did, by the way.
Explain it to me.
Azop has improved one of his starting cards named Bash into Break, which makes it deal 20 damage, 5 vulnerable, and now it's been enchanted to deal double damage. So we're looking at a card that deals 40 damage base and applies 5 vulnerable. We were explaining earlier how important vulnerable and other debuffs are in multiplayer. In multiplayer, if you do the same damage with a normal card, you are looking at an enemy that has 4 times the health. And also towards the end of the run, it's not just 4 times the health, it gets increasingly more and more demanding. It's sometimes even more. We've seen that some bosses reach almost 3,000 HP, right? But debuffs, the effects are actually the same, they're not scaled down. So being able to weaken an enemy that now, instead of doing 50 damage, deals maybe 27 or 25 or
Quick
whatever
maths.
that might be, just applies that to everyone on the team, and everyone on the team benefits from your debuff.
Yep. It couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, weakening in this game is already much stronger than it was in Slay the Spire 1, because it's just really available for most every character. But then, you get into multiplayer, and it is just 10 times better. You almost always want to have one person on your multiplayer squad that is running the Ironclad or the Regent or the Silent. Somebody that can apply vulnerable and or weakening is just the way to go. Absolutely.
Even though we saw Jason's team die, we did see that they bought themselves some very precious time by lowering the strength of the enemy, especially with so many multi-attack patterns that enemies have in Slay the Spire 2. If you lower their strength by 5 and they're attacking 5 times 5, that means they do 0 damage. You're blocking 25 for each of your teammates, and we have seen some of that in this team as well.
Yeah. I did want to just really quickly, I've noticed that things have started to get a little bit smoother, a little bit less choppy, and I just wanted to give a shout out to production. This is our first time doing an event like this, and I know that it can get stressful when you start out and things don't go the way. So, W Production, absolutely fucking love you guys. They've been a pleasure to work with. And we are finally getting to Merle's team. They're 45 minutes into the run, and they are only at the Act 2 boss. Only at the Act 2 boss. You have an hour and 15 minutes to do this. They've got to start putting their foot down. 30 minutes left. They've got to get there. I don't know if they've had any deaths, though. But if they haven't had any deaths, they could still cross the finish line here with a lot of points, especially if another team maybe doesn't do quite as well. I'm really interested to see how this all shakes up.
It seems like they have managed to get themselves some Debilitate, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the card that makes vulnerable and weak even stronger, right?
Yeah, see,
And
I call
it
Delibilate. But yeah, Debilitate is definitely, I would say, the hands down strongest card that the Necrobinder has. I was talking with Otz earlier, actually, and Otz was kind of like, give me the rundown of your opinion on every single individual character in the game, on how they stack up in multiplayer. And I was kind of describing that the Necrobinder is like a bard, where they kind of do a little bit of everything. And one of their strongest cards is definitely Debilitate. It is massive. Because like you were saying, weakening applies to everybody on your team. If you weaken the enemy, Debilitate also applies on the enemy. If you apply Debilitate and then weakening, everybody is taking significantly less damage. It is absolutely incredible. It is so unbelievably strong. I did notice here that Merle has Hammer Time. And you said earlier that this is your favorite card.
It is my absolute favorite card. It is really funny. We're going to see exactly what it does in a minute. We probably can show rather than tell in just a second.
Yeah.
Now, I
Merle's
love this.
deck is insane, by the way. Merle's deck has a flak cannon. They're playing the Regent, and they've got flak cannon. And you know why they took the flak cannon?
I think I know, yes. Because they can get rid of debris.
Motherfucker at the top of this act is going to get their butt eaten. They took the Prism at Act 2 that gives you 15 choices of defect cards, and they took a flak cannon so that they could deal with these types of enemies. They could deal with this enemy. They could deal with the B guy. They could deal with so many different things. That's so incredibly cool. And you get something like Collision Course on this character. Oh my God, the synergy is out of this world. Merle, you have my heart. You might not get first place in this round, but you've got first place in my heart. I want to see this video uploaded to YouTube because I'm watching it day one. That is
we
incredible.
see here the effects of a more careful approach compared to Jason's Japanese Experts team that went crazy fast, damn be the consequences, right? Now, for those of you that might be a little bit unfamiliar with why Flak is so powerful here, there are several cards that have a downside, giving you bad cards that you actually don't want to have in your hand. And as we explained, the major threat of this run is the Aeon Glass, a boss that fails your hand with cards that just slowly kill you. Flak Cannon gets stronger for each of these status effects and actually turns them into a resource for you, right?
Yes. So when I actually did coaching with Japanese Export, I found love for a card that I didn't think was that good. And that card is Crash Landing. It's a Regent card that does a bunch of front-loaded AoE damage, but it fills the rest of your hand with debris, which is just a useless status card. And if you don't have the tools to be able to get rid of it, a lot of times you can transform like one card or two cards, but the Regent doesn't really have access to transforming their entire hand. And Flak Cannon doesn't care where your statuses are. Literally says, no matter where they are in your deck, if they're in your draw pile, discard pile, or in your hand, they get removed, exhausted, and then they add to the damage of that card. That is incredible. That is so cool, and I am just blown away by the synergy that they have here and how well it is performing. Also, notably, they have 2 players on their team with the Petrified Toad, so that's another interesting thing, is you actually can get the same relic as one of your teammates. And 2 players have the Petrified Toad, so every single combat, they have access to 30 damage. And let's go. We got the points back up on the screen. We've got Ascension 11 currently in first place with 82 points. The Big Cats with 76. Bomb Squad leading it up in third, which, again, Bomb Squad is the team that we said is the team that we were unsure of how they would do going into this. That's an incredible score.
They had some of the most difficult and uphill battles based on their
Yeah.
Lack of time to prepare together. Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for them to not be
Nah.
doing it, for them to not be there. Now we do see Elephant Sanctuary's score.
What
at
is
3.
happening?
They're at 3. Now, I don't know if that is including their points from last round or if that is not including their points from last round and they're just currently
They
playing
might
a new
have had
run.
a full reset.
They did have to reset, and I just don't know if production is including that in the score. It will be included at the end. We'll fix that. Don't worry. All right, we can see
Some
there's
more
still
Aeon Glass action.
still one team that is in Act 2, and that is Ludwig's team. But we're going to look at the Aeon Glass once again, as it is probably going to be one of the biggest death dealers. BoxBox took a card, Synergy, I believe it's called, that is kind of a reworked recycle from Slay the Spire 1, and it was really good in Slay the Spire 1. It got reworked now to only give you energy on your next turn. So it's Scavenge, excuse me, chat. Thank you for correcting me. It is not that good of a card, but took it specifically, I imagine, to get rid of these cards. Yeah. To specifically get rid of the statuses. And look at them. They are all full HP.
It is a really cruel joke, however, that all of these skills that help you deal with the Aeon Glass also hinder you in the next fight, because as we explained, we have 2 really tough fights back to back, no big rest in between, and skills in the first phase
are
going to be
practically
really tough.
full HP and just completed this first boss. We need a goddamn clap in the goddamn chat for Team Box Ruli service, because that is just a textbook way to get through it, and in such good time as well.
We have a 40 block genetic algorithm as well. A card that gets stronger the more you utilize it has seen some crazy value here. Look at that.
Just absolutely well played by this team. They are completely, the glimpse beyond, you just saw it, putting a bunch of souls in every single person's deck. Or is every single person, or is it just one person? Chat, you can correct me. But either way, the souls are just so incredible to be able to get to whatever you need. I mean, BoxBox is running a claw build of all builds.
Yeah,
that's just to
it's
win
enhanced
in
by the
style and
tree
fashion
boomerang
as well. Oh my God. This team, honestly, I've played with this team. Okay. Let me tell you, I've played with this team minus VM service and plus me. Put that in the slot. We're just as good at the game. They are very good, but I will tell you, they do have a weakness. I knew that they were going to be rather good at these initial rounds. But where they're going to have weakness is in the later rounds. Because BoxBox in Stelly, they have both only played the characters that they're playing. They have about 50 hours in this game, but they haven't played other characters.
They are doing impressively well.
Yeah,
all things considered.
they're really good
Ascension
at what they do.
is really tough.
Tell it to League players to be fucking one tricks, man. But they are homegrown one tricks. So next round, I imagine they'll probably play the Ironclad because he's a very unga bunga simple character to play, and they might do quite well. But in round 3, when every single person has to press random and live with the consequences of whatever happens, if Stelly gets anything other, it's literally a 20% chance. I want to be there whenever they roll the characters. There's a good chance that Stelly does not get the character that she wants and is then going to be forcibly live coached. And again, that round 3 is 2x points. So it's more important that you get really solid points in round 3 than any other round.
Yeah.
So even though like Elephant Sanctuary may not get but so many points here in this first round, I don't think that they're out by any means.
We have just seen the most obscene turn I've ever seen in my life, by the way. BoxBox has Feral, a power that allows you to play a card repeatedly, and we are seeing its effects right now. Claw is getting stronger and stronger. He also got the Tree Boomerang from Tanks, which makes the strength double and makes that initial scaling happen all that much faster. And we're now on the really, really scary phase 3, where initially we deal only 1 damage at a time.
Yep. Very, very, very scary. And BoxBox's deck is filled with statuses, but he does have ways to deal with it. So I don't imagine that they'll be all that scary. And I mean, VM service is blocking for 54 on a turn that's dealing 15. I don't think that they are really cared. I think that they are at this point. We're watching an episode of anime right now, and they are absolutely aura farming on this boss. They do not care. It is like I said, textbook.
Claw keeps getting stronger. We are keeping stacking Weaken with also Debilitate, which, as we said earlier, makes the effects of Weaken and Vulnerable even more pronounced. And we have cards such as Hologram to bring back the Claw and keep using a Claw, a fan favorite.
Don't be
And
worried.
honestly, a genuinely very, very good option here.
Yeah. Team Platoon, another full squad all that much. Hellcat has been in a subathon. They honestly didn't have as much practice as other people, are currently in the final boss, or the second to last boss, while Jackie's team is in the final boss. And I love, thank you, production, that we're coinciding with the fact that the Crimson Blur's team, the Smash Bros, is only at the Act 2 boss. They still have time. I don't think that they're out by any means.
I think they're doing very well, by the way. If we look at their health and the turn they're playing in, they are playing steady and slow, and I think getting through Act 2, frankly, is quite difficult for players that might not have hundreds of hours of experience in this game yet. So this is honestly quite impressive considering the time they took to clear Act 1.
The fact that BoxBox's team, VM Service, Baru, and Stelly just cleared, and every single person on their team was 3/4 HP or above. Just absolutely amazing.
Are we looking at winner of round 1?
Potentially. If that is the first team to have finished, they just get a +30 there. That is just way too many points being added on there. That is just absolutely insane there.
Yeah. They might have found a really good sweet spot of like calculating and also playing really, really fast.
Yeah. First and no deaths is just that is the way to go. And here comes BoxBox. Hi, BoxBox. Everybody say hi, BoxBox, as he's pulling up the stream in real time.
Hello.
We are absolutely impressed with what you guys are doing over there.
Well-deserved rest now.
Don't worry, we moved over to type 1 in chat if Scootish is greater than Frost Prime. They're also on the Act 3 boss, just got into the Aeon Glass. Will Scootish be falling here, or has he been carried strong enough by his teammates? Comet Bagel, if you don't know, holds multiple records in the Binding of Isaac for the most amount of tainted lost wins in a row. Going to the hardest boss in the game, Mother. Not even just wins. Comet Bagel is a fucking gamer. She is also incredible at Slay the Spire, always has been since the start of since Slay the Spire 1, and has been dominating in this game too. Nandre is a professional Balatro player, so I honestly gave Scootish too stacked of a team to just limp him over the finish line, put him on their backs, and get him across the finish line. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Having a look at their decks, however, before we move away from Scootish, they do seem to have a lot of souls, which is like very card spammy. Do you think this is going to run them into a trouble? They have good HP, but I don't see the strategy. At least looking at their decks initially, I don't know how they're doing damage here. They are seemingly stacking quite a bit of Doom.
Jackie's team did just finish, by the way, and they have their time at the top of the screen, 44 minutes. And I'm curious because they did start slightly later in real time, right? I wonder if they finished faster than Rubok's live Stelly VM service. I'm curious as to whether or not they actually did finish faster, since they went slightly, or they didn't realize that the seed had been posted and they started their game quicker. Thankfully, they didn't hold us up. Shout out them. A team that is going to hold us up, though, is without a doubt going to be Ludwig's team. I will say, they might be in last. Ludwig's looking good, man. Oh,
It's
Red Bull,
looking
Red Bull
nice.
athlete
It's
right there.
looking
Maybe
really
me,
nice.
maybe me in the future. He's holding up the Red Bull. Sponsored, by the way. Yeah, I mean, they are pulling up the rear here in terms of time for sure. But if they still get across the finish line with absolutely no deaths, I don't think that it will be all that much of a problem.
Defy here looking like a really good option to weaken the enemy. Do we even need to? Looking at the block of the team, possibly not.
Nah.
Oh, it looks like we have the energy to play it just fine.
Yeah, no, they're chilling. If there's one thing that Crimson Blur is good at, it is playing an excruciatingly long run, but playing it excruciatingly well. He's really good at that, but he's not known for going fast. So I kind of predicted that this would be their team regardless of how much practice they had. But he is known for, back in the Super Smash Brothers days, he's known for being a lot of people's coaches. He's never been a person that was necessarily like at the very tippity top, he was very good, but he was always known for being the person that was making other people as good as they could be. Taking it now to a look over at Goon Platoon. Look at all those withers in their hand. Oh my God,
this is
you
the
need to kill them
status
right
card
now.
that we do
And
not
they do.
want to see that much of.
They do. They're not in great shape though. Both Squidinky Dink and Jokat at half HP. And half HP. So I mean, you can see all of these players now bringing up the end of these fights at about an hour. That's really good. The Big Cat's about to finish the first boss potentially. They definitely got to put the pedal down and to ensure victory, but it's not doing terribly.
Yeah. And I would like to just point out the absolute massive difference between some of these players' health bars. If we look at Billy Ray, they have such a massive bar compared with.
I told you Billy's the goat, man.
Just the team below or to the right. It is actually really, really fun to see. I love that we got tanks, by the way. I did notice that I believe Ludwig took the tank's whistle, which is a very unique card that allows you to stun an enemy and make them waste an entire turn. And I don't think a lot of people have picked it.
Something super interesting about that card that a lot of people might not know, and chat might correct me, but this is how it was when it first came out. It doesn't count as a debuff. So if an enemy has artifact on them, it still stuns them, but it doesn't stack. So if multiple players have whistle, it does not stack as far as I am aware. Again, patch could have changed something. I could be wrong, but this is how it was when I was playing a lot of co-op back in the day. Back in my day, a week ago. Yeah, it just physically changes the enemy's intent to nothing. And then the main thing is if you stun an enemy that's doing a really hard turn, guess what they do next turn? That really hard turn.
Thing.
You don't move them in their clock. They still are gonna do that big hit the next turn. You're not like deleting their turn. You're just changing what they're doing, and then they put the cards down and they pick it up next turn. But yeah, the Goon Platoon doing really well. Squidinky Dink getting a little bit low. They're on phase 2 right now out of 3 of the Fiki test subject. But
and by the way, my skepticism in Scottish team was completely misplaced. They are doing incredibly. I think they just finished phase 2 and are looking really, really healthy.
Yeah. I mean, again, all you got to do is be able to keep one guy alive, and they put Scootish on the support team. And I mean, he's going to do his job here. I do think, though, that Squidinky Dink does have Lizard Tail. So if chat is not lying to me, then it is not going to be super bad if Squid does die. That relic, if you don't know, whenever you take your first death, you're instantly revived at 50% HP. So production, that doesn't count as a death, by the way.
Oh, you still have beef over that? You need to let it go, Frost. You really need to let it go. I was going to mention it myself just to make you not have to look so hurt over that still. That people didn't trust you, man. You're really not going to let it go. Oh, and one of our test subjects has become really, really tiny. What is that?
Oh, was that did they have a Beetlejuice potion?
Yes.
Yeah, the Beetlejuice potion makes it quite literally shrinks the enemy. It's quite good. And all 4 players left alive at the end of Type 1 and Scootish is greater than Frost. I need this to be stated. Everybody knew that Scootish was the underdog coming into the team. There he is on screen. He's a bisexual icon. Scootish, we ranked every single player in their skill level on a scale of 1 to 10. I went through every single person. There were a number of players, 2 of them are on screen, that were a 5 or a 4. That is Squidinky Dink and Ludwig. People that just hadn't played enough of the game, but they were on their Ascension climb. Scootish was a 2. He had played 120 runs on Ascension 0 in Ascension 1 and had only won 9 of them. So I gave him the #1 player in the world by a lot of people's accounts. There's nothing that actually states whether you're the #1, but by a lot of people, it's just like, yeah, this guy's fucking great. One punt man, Opum. I gave Opum Scootish as a problem for Opum to have to deal with. And I was
You're telling me he was the marble and Opum had to be the sculpture.
Yeah, and I was willing to give their team a buff. So in round 3, Scootish didn't have to press random and he could pick his character. I was willing to do that. But judging by how good Scootish has gotten over the last few days, he by far does not need it. I don't think he's necessarily the weakest link in the entire tournament anymore. And that just shows how much improvement he's made over the last couple of days, and that should not be understated. And he has been putting in the work, he's been putting in the effort, and his team might now win the tournament, which we didn't have time before round 1. We haven't even said what they're going to be winning.
Oh,
and after this
Jokat,
round,
by the way,
we're
took
gonna,
a massive blow.
Who took a
Sorry
massive
to
blow?
interrupt you. Jokat, unfortunately, is going to be helping their teammates from the ground on the final phase of the final boss.
This is looking a little bit rough. Squid at 1 HP as well. Has she popped her lizard tail yet? Is the big question. Even Paparazzo getting a little bit low. This is, however, the turn that just gives you burns in your discard pile, so it's not that detrimental. Zooming in on them here, the Putrefy comes down to extend some weakening. Squid has popped the lizard tail, so the next death is a real one. They're intangible this turn, so they're definitely not killing.
Their defect player, is it Papa? No. They have creative AI, and it's now a matter of time until one of those powers is maybe strong enough to
Filthy AI users, am I right?
give some crazy scaling, but they need to hang in there, and they don't have that much HP. The camera is covering the last player's HP right now, so we cannot quite tell, but they are in a very dire situation against an enemy that every other turn takes 1 damage per attack.
Ooh, does Squid have enough block here? Ooh, she's getting up there. She needs literally
We're
one.
so
she
shy.
needs
Just
one
make it-
health. Oh my God, they need to kill it now, or else she's going down. Do they have a block potion? Did they have the ability to just go anything at the enemy? They just need anything.
Oh no, with 3 players in the turn, we think Squidding
And that
is done
is
for.
going to be the second death of the team. Still, again, positive points if they just limp over the finish line with those last 2 players. But that is what happens sometimes. This is multiplayer. The enemies have a lot of health. They're not going to be winning this turn unless you're playing with BoxBox and you get to Hellraiser Infinite. But this is looking like probably just 2 players. I don't think that anybody else is going to go down. I think that they're going to be just
That
fine.
is such an unfortunate turn to draw Hang. Hang is a card that keeps doing more and more damage the more you play it. But remember,
Right.
Meat cleaver.
with Intangible, this turn is a bit of a dud. We do have an amazing amount of HP on Billy Ray's side of things. And Papa does have the Hand Osti, which acts as a bit of a shield, tanking some damage right now. It's got 21 HP, but it's all gone.
I wonder if for the sake of time, they should be ending their turns a little bit earlier here. I noticed that Billy was playing a lot of cards into the intangible. And if it's like you already know that you're going to have a decent hand next turn, maybe it's good for time to just end the intangible turn so that you can actually get to a turn that you can deal damage. But they do end up finishing 2 players alive. So they get plus
That's
10.
huge.
And again, that's plus 10 plus an additional 5 points for killing the boss. So they're still netting 5 after their minus 10. They're still netting 5 from finishing the boss, and then however many points they get from whatever place they finished in. So they're not doing terribly. And now we are getting down to the wire. Only a couple of teams left playing, I believe.
We would like to see some of the movement here. Goon Platoon, well done. This is their ending screen. But we need to keep an eye on some of the movement.
Yeah, the
and
Smash
see
Bros
how-
in particular, have they even gotten close to the final boss? This is going to be the big cats finding the final boss in the second to last stage. They're dealing a lot of damage, and they've got no one even close to that. Yeah. They are looking really, really solid. And again, Raren in his, or Raffle, excuse me, in his black t-shirt, V-neck style, probably a true classic or a Walmart tee, looking scrum diddly umptious, bark, 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 bark. You know what I'm saying?
We have a card here that has absorbed the power of other cards and gets stronger every time we utilize it. Now, this turn obviously is a bit of a dud because of Intangible, but it's doing 100 plus damage and hitting twice as well. So if we can just hit a couple of times with this, that could be your way to kill this very tanky.
Thrash is like an unbelievable card. It is such a late game scaling, and the fact that he has momentum on it as well to give even more damage. And look, those are the only cards left in his deck. He has
I was gonna
Thrash,
say, he's
and
got
he has
nothing else.
Thrash. He's going to play Thrash here, and then you know what he's going to do? He's going to fucking play Thrash again. He's about to just one-shot for sure. He's trying to just eliminate down to literally being the only card left. So look, 222 damage times 2. He's going to run it back and run it again if he can draw it here, but he did play the Bloodletting, which is going to decrease his odds of being able to get it. Draws Burning Pact, which will guarantee that he puts it back into his hand. He's got lethal. He just needs to rip it. That's going to be 4 players left alive for the big cats. Looking big as always.
Yeah,
think
here we see
Raffle's
the
a climber?
power
He looks like he
of
climbs.
card removals, right?
What? Sorry.
Like, we see the power here of card removals with the Meat Cleaver, a ancient reward that he picked from tanks earlier. Every time
good
they went to
idea.
a rest side, they remove a couple cards from their deck, and then having a very slim deck basically allows you to run away with the game sometimes.
Right. And the Smash Bros are here. They're
Oh my god,
here.
they caught up!
Yeah.
They caught up!
They're not that far behind. They're here. They're chilling. They're doing all right. Yeah, they are rolling with it, and they are doing okay. They do have again the whistle, like you stated. So they're going to stun this character up on turn 1. You can still get those withers added to your deck. It doesn't take away the ability to that to happen, but you don't have to worry about all of that nasty incoming damage. And the big thing about this boss that I was stating is every 3 turns or every 4 turns is when they buff all of the withers in your draw pile. So they're only
This is
3 damage at the
particularly
start.
punishing for our POB right now, because obviously we all understand that the Defect is a character that plays multiple cards, creates multiple cards, plays 0-cost cards quite frequently, right? Yeah, this is something that you have to prepare very carefully by perhaps leaning on having a more supportive role or doing poison. You need something that will do a ton of damage without necessarily playing a ton of cards. Do you think their deck has achieved this?
I imagine so, with him having so much block. Just looking over at his character icon, I did just see a message in chat though. Apparently, Elephant Sanctuary has completed their second run. They played through it, and they got all the way to the second. Is that true? That they may have.
How much more vulnerable?
They were told that they were out of time. Oh, they were stopped. They were, never mind. Okay. Somebody in chat said that they finished. And I was like, to me, finishing means like one specific thing, chat. You know what I'm talking about? Anyways, back to what's at hand. They've got the flanking. So the Silent has this one card that is called flanking that makes everybody on your entire team deal ×2, ×3, a billion, quadrillion damage to the enemy for that turn. It is an unbelievable card to be spamming. And honestly, it can become your entire like idea as the Silent to literally just try to cycle your deck as fast as possible and get back to your flanking in multiplayer so that your team can just do things for you.
We were talking about it just before, some of the cards to look out for. That one seems to be maybe on the chopping block for a rework or a nerf in an upcoming patch.
Yeah, it is quite good. It might be, it might need to be the next however many attacks, you know, or like, I don't know, something needs to happen that makes it a little bit different. Does Ludwig even know what he's doing, chat? Those who have been watching Ludwig, does he even know what he's doing, or is it just he's the puppet in Crimson Blur, is the guy with the strings going like this?
No matter what has happened, I always see him with Prolong on his hand. And it is a little bit funny. It's a little bit funny that it has been the longest run so far, and it has Prolong on it. The irony is not lost on us. So far, their HP looks pretty good, and they have whittled away at the health of the Aeon Glass. It's looking pretty good.
Great.
Aeon Glass goes down. Nobody dead. A little bit of chip on a couple of people. Let's see how they do versus the final boss. The Fiki test subject. He's got the whistle on turn 1, which is really good because again, this character wants to spam. If you spam skills against this character, everybody takes more damage. So for the simple fact that he can just
wait a minute, who just dealt a 300 HP blow? We might need a replay on that.
Oh my fuck.
Excuse me?
Yeah, what was that and who was that? That was insane.
That's good. That's good.
That's great.
That was some crazy damage.
Yeah, wow, I'm getting hit by a lot here.
It might have been a flanking angle, honestly. It might have just gotten thrown in there. It might have been Lud's whistle.
50 damage really got multiplied.
Yeah, the flanking again is incredible. Yeah.
Oh man, we were talking about it a minute ago, but that is your visual for visual learners out there. That's why flanking is good.
Yeah. For those that need to understand, this is the final boss of the game, and it almost got one-shot by 2 cards. Yeah, it is quite strong, and it definitely is something that you can do in order to just...
You can see Ludwig now dealing with a bit of frustration. He's drawing cards that do not have the best synergy.
Neck veins. He's got massive neck veins, and you can tell when he's getting upset. Yeah.
We might have to teach him about it later.
You have Dominate or something?
Unfortunately, Wisp is a card. He's hanging onto it that gives you energy, but he's routinely drawn it at times when he does not need the energy. And oftentimes when this happens, it means you might have made a mistake when picking card rewards earlier and you didn't quite build your deck appropriately. It might also just be good old bad luck.
Yeah. The final team. We've got all 4 players on the screen. You know that you're probably not getting points for finishing, so all they need to do is get over the finish line without taking deaths.
Yep.
That is the most important thing here, is if they can get through without taking any deaths, they still get 25 points just for finishing.
34 damage is no slouch, by the way. This is a relic that has changed his starting card into a stronger version of itself. And especially with all the debuffs, we are missing a bit of a debilitate here, but removing the strength from the enemy is so helpful, even if it's just for 1 turn.
Yeah, and this is it's going to be whether or not Ludwig falls here. Oops, unfortunate little blip there, but we're going to look in on Nick, who looks like he just woke up. He is notably a late riser, so he might be a little tired here, but that doesn't mean he's going to be playing any worse. Gamers will endure. He's doing all right here. He's looking at his draw pile.
Why not use Battle Trance here? Does he plan
He notices
to draw?
that every single card in his draw pile is an attack, and they were
And
intangible
wants
that
to
turn.
save it for the non-intangible turn.
Because he's got the Hellraiser to be able to just smack super hard this turn.
What
Strikes
did we
are hitting
just
for
watch?
60 damage apiece.
Why did these cards play automatically?
So he's got a power called Hellraiser, which just any card that says strike is automatically played whenever you draw it. It is definitely really good, and it is quite strong in multiplayer because it, honestly, a large portion of the time that it takes to complete a multiplayer run is the cards queuing up behind everybody else's cards. So just having your cards just be played for you without having to think is not really a bad thing, you know?
Yeah, we now see a turn where the enemy does not attack, but instead applies several status cards onto you. It seems, however, that they are in good enough shape that that's not going to be an issue. The only possible complication could be Ludwig dying, but I think they generally finish it before that even
And there it
becomes a
is.
possibility. Amazing job from
There it
the
is.
Smash Bros.
Yeah. You gotta say it with a capital every single time. The Smash Bros. Not bad. Finishing off round
And
1 here. Every team
We're wrapped up.
Yeah. Finishing off round 1, not doing terribly here.
Now, I do believe we will have a more synchronized start for round 2, and we'll be able to take things a little bit more slowly. I would really like for us to go even over the very basics to make sure that everybody's on board on what's happening. And once you understand that, and trust me, it's a lot harder for them than it is for you to follow, then round 2 will be enjoyable. Round 3 is going to be crazy, and I know the gimmick for round 4 is going to be really fun as well.
Yeah. Once we get once we get all of the scores tallied up, I'm really interested to see who's in first. We apparently do have a replay that we're going to go take a look at here. I'm interested. Is it going to be the death of the team? We got the Red Bull replay.
I hope you.
No, this is going to be Act 1 for Team
I survived on
Bookshelf.
that. That's all good.
This is the 1 HP.
Does anybody need help?
No
I have a Dex
block.
potion for 5.
No,
blocking everything.
yeah, I'm all good.
I have a
I mean, I go down to 1,
potion
but
for
it's fine.
5, they say.
You go down to 1? Oh gosh, you're scaring me.
Perfectly planned. I calculated this from
Yes.
the beginning.
Yeah,
Like,
I love the confidence from the team captain.
Yeah, he's like, no, let me go. Don't let me go, Jack.
Wow.
I gotta go.
Nice.
I gotta fall off the door so that
easy.
you can live.
Yeah.
But then it ends up that the water was actually room temperature and he's not dead at all. Again, shout out to Red
Honestly,
Bull
if
for
we get a
sponsoring the
second
show.
replay, I would absolutely love to see what the hell was that damage on phase 1
Yeah,
from Team Smash Bros. That was ridiculous. I would love to see that. How the hell did we do 500 damage with 2 cards?
So the end of round 1, Otts.
Yeah.
What team are you the most surprised about?
This one, because I think our
honestly, if we had a graph curve showing us the speed at which these teams have accelerated, I think Smash Bros caught up remarkably fast towards the end. I don't know if you noticed, but they were like at times 2 acts behind the lead. Towards the end, they caught up and finished not that far behind everybody else. If that's something that carries over to the next round, and their start is now a little bit smoother, and they deal with the round modifiers and the quirks of each round appropriately, I think they could actually do a lot better than we gave them credit for initially. So my favorite maybe has been that performance.
Really? Yeah, for me, I think it's got to be, even though every single time that I say their name, I get hurt by Twitch chat. Type 1, if Scoot is greater than Frost Prime, Scoot is just the underdog of the tournament, like I said many times. And the way that he has performed is just absolutely incredible. Not being a detriment to his team was what I was expecting. But he was actually there. He was actually a reason why their team crossed the finish line. He wasn't just dragged across. He was running across with everybody else in shape. He's ready to go. He's looking good physically, mentally. I have kissed him on the mouth before. I'm really happy that he is able to feel confident because he was nervous. He actually messaged me at one point before the tournament wanting to know if he could drop out because he was like, I don't want to hold my team back. And I was like, please do some coaching with your coach. And he did. He got a 5-hour run, his first ever run on Ascension 10. And he sat in there for 5 hours, ingested all of the information, and he just did so well. And I'm just so
he really is the classic story of fear not the man that knows 10,000 kicks, but the man that knows one kick 10,000 times, right? Well, thanks so much, Frost, for sharing things that other people would probably take to their grave. I hope we keep that energy
stream,
for
actually.
the rest.
We did it on stream. So the clip's out there. It's actually an emote in my chat. Here we go. Looking at the final scores, we've got Rue Box Lee Service in first with 64 points. Type 1 if Scoot, the underdog team, my goats, with 61 points. The Smash Bros. How the heck did they get 58 points? That's incredible. Double check that one. That seems fucking insane. That's crazy if true. That's so good that I'm not believing it, but I believe it because they're good. Holy, Big Cats with 56, Ascension 11 with 50, Bomb Squad with 44, Goon Platoon with 28, and Elephant Sanctuary still got 20 points. They still got 20 points. Sorry, 38 total. You got to look at the right side. Sorry about that.
He's an arsonist on a noble quest to escape the wrath of the IRS. He's got conflicting positions in the endless fight for queer folks and